Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to get respect without even trying? Like they walk into a room and people just listen. Well, it's not magic, and it's definitely not about being the loudest person. Respect is something you build. And today we're going to look at the actual blueprint for how it's done. All right, let's just get right to it with a hard truth. Some people in your life don't respect you. It stings a little to hear, I know, but just sitting with that for a second is the first step. But here's the twist. It's probably not because they're bad people. We often jump to that conclusion, that they're mean or they're trying to hurt us, but most of the time, that's not what's really going on. The real reason, more often than not, is simpler. It's because you haven't taught them how to treat you. You haven't given them the instructions. And realizing that, well, that's where you get your power back. So that's our focus today. We're going to break down how you bid that respect, not with big, loud arguments or trying to make people feel guilty, but quietly, through something called psychological boundaries. So let's dive into this idea, the architecture of respect. Think of yourself like a building. For that building to be strong, it needs a solid frame.
That frame, well, it's made of your psychological boundaries. You can't just demand respect, you can't force it, and you certainly can't earn it by just giving more and more of yourself away. It's something you create, one boundary at a time.
Now, that word boundaries gets thrown around constantly, right? But I think a lot of us have the wrong idea about what they actually are. So let's clear that up and separate the myth from the reality. The big myth is that boundaries are all about confrontation, laying down the law, making demands, getting ready for a big fight. But the reality is, they're much quieter. They're about the signals you send, the actions you take, and being consistent. It's less about controlling other people and way, way more about your own self-respect. So a psychological boundary isn't some big speech you prepare. It's really just the sum of all the little signals you send out every day. Signals that tell people what you're okay with, what you'll put up with, and what is absolutely not okay. And the key thing is they are shown, not just announced. So how do you show them? Well, it boils down to three simple things, though they're not always easy. It's what you allow to happen around you, what you decide to put a stop to, and maybe most importantly, what you're willing to walk away from. I mean, think about it like this. People are smart. They're constantly watching and learning. And what you tolerate basically becomes the instruction manual they use for how to interact with you. Your tolerance literally sets the standard. So, okay, what happens when those signals are fuzzy or just non-existent? Well, the hidden cost of that silence is way higher than you'd think. Take a look at this list. Does any of it feel familiar? When your boundaries are weak, you feel drained all the time because you're leaking energy. You feel resentful because your needs are never met. And you can feel totally invisible or misunderstood because you haven't clearly shown people who you are. And here's the thing. Respect doesn't just vanish in a puff of smoke. It's more like a slow erosion. Every single time you say yes when you really mean no, or let a small disrespectful comment slide, you're chipping away at your own foundation. And trust me, other people can feel that unsteady ground. All right, so enough about the problem. How do we start building? How do we fix this? The answer is one incredibly powerful word: clarity. Your power is in being crystal clear. Look at this phrase, "I'm not available for that." Notice what's missing. There's no apology. There's no long, rambling excuse. It's just a calm, clear statement of fact. You're communicating that your time and energy are yours to manage.
Or how about this one? "That doesn't work for me." See? Same vibe. It doesn't invite a debate. It doesn't need a 20-minute explanation of why. It's a complete sentence, and it's powerfully direct.
And sometimes the most powerful boundary tool you have is your own 2 feet. I'm stepping away from this. This tells someone you will not participate in something that's disrespectful or just plain unproductive. It's the ultimate signal. When you start using clear, simple phrases like these, you're not trying to start an argument. You're teaching. You are quietly and calmly teaching people that your time is valuable, that your energy matters, and that your limits, well, they're real. And here's the beautiful part. When you are clear, respect just kind of shows up. It's the natural result. Disrespect thrives in confusion and ambiguity. Clarity cuts off its air supply. Okay, I know this might all be sounding like a massive project, but it really all starts with one tiny, repeatable habit. A micro-habit, really. Here it is. This is the question, the one thing to take with you today. Anytime you feel that little twinge of resentment or frustration, or you just feel off, just pause and quietly ask yourself, what am I allowing right now?
That's it. You don't have to have the perfect answer or make a big move right away. Just becoming aware is the giant first step. Each time you notice what you're allowing, you get a choice. And every small choice you make to honor yourself is another brick in that strong foundation.
So let's end on this thought. We tend to think of boundaries as these big, scary walls we built to keep people out. But what if they aren't walls at all? What if they're more like guideposts, showing people the best, most respectful way to connect with you? Because when those guides are clear, you don't have to fight for respect anymore. It just follows.